Russia will hold naval drills off the coast of Ireland next month, Moscow has announced amid rapidly escalating tensions with the West. Additionally, Norway alert warnings show the scope of actions with naval weapons in the Barents Sea for the coming few days, as all 4 Russian fleets will hold a series of exercises involving 140 combat and supply ships.
Separately to that, I'll be briefing my colleagues today on a notification that Ireland has received from Russia in recent days, that they intend to undertake military exercises about 240 kilometres off the Irish southwest coast. That is in international waters, but it is also part of the exclusive economic zone of Ireland. And so we don't have a power to prevent this happening, but certainly I've made it clear to the Russian ambassador in Ireland that it's not welcome. This isn't a time to increase military activity and tension in the context of what's happening with and in Ukraine at the moment.
Russian battleships will take part in sea drills around 150 miles off Ireland's southwest coast, within the country's exclusive economic zone but outside its territorial waters. Foreign Minister Simon Coveney revealed that Russia informed Ireland about the drills, saying the warships are not welcome, but his country doesn't have the power to stop this from happening. It comes amid rising tensions over a buildup of Russia's military forces on the Ukraine border and threats of consequences for any invasion from the US and its allies. Ireland has a long-standing policy of military neutrality and is not part of the NATO military alliance. Irish officials said that is in international waters, but it is also part of the exclusive economic zone of Ireland. It is also within Ireland's airspace, and flights will have to be diverted to avoid the area. Irish official Coveney made his remarks as he was preparing to meet with EU counterparts to discuss the crisis in Ukraine and any non-military response the EU might pursue. He said he planned to raise the naval exercises briefly with the other EU ministers. According to Russia, some 10,000 military servicemen will take part in what seems to become a coordinated large Navy operation from the Sea of Okhotsk in the Far East, the Mediterranean in the south, Atlantic in the west to the Arctic Ocean with the Barents Sea in the north. The naval exercises kick off simultaneously as Belarus and Russia launches the Allied resolve drills near the western border to Poland and Lithuania, and not too far away from the border to western Ukraine. The Northern Fleet, based on the Kola Peninsula, is the largest of Russia's 4 fleets, the other being the Pacific Fleet, Black Sea Fleet, and the Baltic Fleet. Last weekend, 3 of the Northern Fleet's amphibious assault ships were flexing muscles in the Baltic Sea and made Sweden increase military readiness, sending more troops to Gotland. The 3 warships, together with the ships from the Baltic Fleet based in Kaliningrad, have now sailed west and are on their way towards the Mediterranean, where they will meet ships from the Pacific Fleet. The Navy group transited the English Channel on January 20 and was followed by a French naval vessel. It is also probable the ships are being accompanied by a nuclear-powered submarine. The defense forces have been alerted to the ship's activity. The multiple warnings for the Barents Sea cover traditional areas north of Murmansk and the Kilding Island where the Northern Fleet used to exercise. One large area, though, is in international waters north of the Fisherman Peninsula and the Varanger Fjord, where the maritime border between Russia and Norway is. Russia's ambassador to Dublin, Yuri Filatov, arranged a press briefing where he assured that there is nothing to be disturbed about and that all the media attention in Ireland to the exercise has become part of a propaganda campaign against the Russian threat. On the other side, Irish fishing boats are planning to peacefully disrupt military exercises by the Russian Navy. Irish fishermen are claiming that the drills threaten a crucial area for marine life and an important fishing region. Irish Defence Forces reservist Robert Gilby warned that this is not the first time a Russian operation near the British Isles has sparked panic. Back in 2017, as well as in the summer of 2021, a Russian spy ship that can allegedly cut undersea cables was also spotted off the Irish coastline. These cables carry huge volumes of internet traffic, emails, images, files, data, and communications between Europe and the US. Companies like Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, and Google rely on cables to transmit vast amounts of data from Irish servers around the world. But if Russia was to cut those cables, there are fears that the internet could go out, and some Russian ships supposedly have robotic arms that can tamper with or even cut key cables. In early January, an undersea fiber optic cable that provides vital internet connection and communications links between mainland Norway and the Svalbard archipelago in the Arctic Ocean has mysteriously been put out of action. The cables provide essential power for Space Norway to run the Svalbard satellite station and also enable broadband internet connection on the islands. It comes as Britain's newly appointed Chief of the Defence Staff, Admiral Sir Tony Radakin, warned that Russia may look to cripple such vital undersea communications via supporting the UK. In an interview at the weekend, Radakin said there had been a phenomenal increase in Russian submarine activity over the past 20 years, adding, Russia has grown the capability to put at threat those undersea cables and potentially exploit them. Norway's Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre, whose country borders Russia and is a founding member of NATO, said he believes it's a sign of weakness that President Vladimir Putin has to express Moscow's political views by an extraordinary military buildup. He said that he calls it a sign of weakness because it's at the negotiating table where issues that matter to people should be discussed, not by that kind of military demonstration, and by pursuing Russia's interests where the weapons will speak. He said he thinks Putin's demand now for guarantees, including that NATO will never admit neighboring Ukraine and other ex-Soviet nations as members, is a result of the loss of post-Cold War communications channels and dialogue that led to differences being settled through negotiations following after Russia's invasion of Ukraine's the Crimean Peninsula in 2014. The Norwegian Prime Minister stressed that Europe in the 21st century doesn't solve political issues by a single nation, and the Russian guessing game indicates that we should be firm, predictable and clear on principles. While Ukraine is not a NATO member and therefore does not come under its collective defense umbrella, he said, Europe and the West should be very clear that if there is an infringement on the border of a modern state in Europe these days, there will be reactions. While Norway is a very loyal and active partner in NATO, the Prime Minister said it has been at peace with neighboring Russia for 1,000 years and has a relationship with Moscow to maintain this peaceful relationship, which is a key priority of Norwegian foreign policy. There have been reports that Norway's Nordic neighbors, Sweden and Finland, which are not NATO members, may be interested in joining the alliance. It should be noted that the Kremlin in December issued greetings with best wishes for the new year to a big number of governments and state leaders. But not all countries are getting a salute from the Russian president. On the list of 36 countries is not Norway, the neighboring country that shares a 198 kilometers long far northern land border with Russia. The new Norwegian government has made clear that it aims for an intensification of political dialogue with Russia. The policy document issued as the government took office in November underlines that bilateral cooperation with Russia is to be further developed, with emphasis on ocean resources, climate, and coastal-related issues in the Barents Sea and the Arctic.